Hey, Nicole.
Hey, what's going on, Nikay?
Not much, not much. You ready?
Yep.
All right, let's do this. We're going to start first, as usual, with our sponsors.
Yes. Irby Entertainment. This company I'm actually a part of. One of the co-owners and founders. And this is an international DJing company, which is a brainchild of Raymond Bailey. So if you are a DJ, you need bookings. And we're also doing a urban apparel company that's a part of that. Then definitely check us out. We are on Facebook.
All right.
And Sheer Dazzle Salon with Kiki Jones as my personal stylist. And if you can remember what I looked like last week and the week before, last week I had a whole turban going on. The week before that I had a hat. But but I got my blowout done. As you all can see, I am back, y'all. Yes. My tresses are back. So if you're interested in what she or any of the lovely ladies there at Sheer Dad Salon can do, they are in Chesapeake, Virginia, which is off of Sam's Circle.
All right. And
And who's responsible for this incredible basic beat would be Color You Cosmetics, which is a brainchild of Karen Stallings. She is the owner and operator of this establishment. She has two locations. One is in Lithonia, Georgia. The other one is in Norfolk, Virginia. So if you are interested in my look, oh yeah, and I'm wearing just a clear gloss today, just something real basic. But of course, I have all the other trappings of a basic beat going on. If you like the way my face looks and you're interested in the product, definitely check out Karen on social media near you. So she has a website, she's on Instagram, and she's definitely on Facebook. So check her out. And also hit me up if you have any questions.
all right. And what do we have in the way of unofficial sponsors today?
Unofficial sponsors. Now I have these, and these were a gift to me because someone that's special to me found out that I love pumpkin everything, pumpkin spice or whatever. And these are the Pop'ems. Now you can find these at any local grocery store. Like if you live in this area, we have Harris Teeter, so they have them. But I know other stores are carrying them right now. So Pop'ems are basically donut holes. So these are delish. So I'll be snacking upon those tonight. And of course, my childhood friend Veronica, only child Pooh. Look for her on Facebook. She created a special cup for me, and I'll be using this versus my iPhone today cup because I love it so much. It has my mom's picture and some other things up here, but she does custom mugs. But inside of it is a medicine ball because if you listen to my voice, I sound a little raspy. If you listen to my chest, it sounds even raspier. So a little
Wow.
rattle going on. But I made my own bootleg medicine ball because as much as I love Starbucks, I can't do $7 a day because the way my bank account is set up. W no. So until we get some more sponsors that are paying more of our bills, we thank them for what it is they do for us. But when we get the sponsors that can do that, like Starbucks, we'll be doing a bootleg version of the medicine ball. If you want any ideas on that, just hit me up in my DMs and I can give you the information on how to get that together.
Yeah. And I am rocking good old fashioned H2O in a stemless metal glass with an eco-friendly straw. I love these metal straws. I need to get some more of them. But yeah, an eco-friendly straw. That's what I'm doing today. The H2 and the O.
Because you cannot watch movies, especially Netflix and chill, without your appropriate snacks. And snacks don't just have to be popcorn or candy; it can be a variety of things. So tune into us every week because we have something different just about. Except for like that month long I did scones, but we're not gonna talk about that. Had an
But that's
addiction,
fine.
but
That's
anyway,
fine. Because I went hunting for some too. It's okay.
right?
Ah, so today's movie.
Yes, the harder they fall.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
wish
bet.
Don was here for this. Oh my gosh,
I
he would
know.
eat this to pieces. This is probably a 2 hour segment.
And I wouldn't be mad about it. Yeah, my baby daddy, and I can talk about him all the time. Anyway, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead.
But see, when I get like that about my people, she's disrespectful. I'm gonna leave that alone, okay? I'm gonna let you
We
have your
have different
moment.
taste. We got
Okay.
different taste. What can I say? I like a man with a British accent who could slip into a Baltimore accent, who could slip into a southern drawl. I mean, it's all hell is
It's a Baltimore accent for me. I'm sorry. I know
he does that. I just sit there
we're not gonna
like
touch that right now.
I'm like, how you do that?
Yeah,
Anyway,
how you do that?
separate program, separate program. So yeah, the harder they fall. I've heard people talking about this as a spaghetti western.
Yes. Can you define that for our crowd? Because not everyone knows what that term means. Okay.
No. So spaghetti westerns were like in the 50s and 60s, and they were called spaghetti westerns because they weren't even filmed in the United States. They were filmed in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So this does not qualify as a spaghetti western. As a matter of fact, on Wikipedia, I don't know who put the Wikipedia page together. I'm taking it's somebody from the producer's team or whatever. They called it a revisionist Western because what they did was they took characters who once were alive, actual historic figures,
Yes.
who may or may not have ever come in contact with each other, and they dropped them all in this story and said, what if they had a gun battle?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
That's that's what they did. And I think the reason why they were wanting to call it a spaghetti western is because I think that unless you went to film school, you don't know what a revisionist western would be.
Right.
And I think it's more akin to the plot and how the story rolls out that makes it more spaghetti-ish than the
Right.
actual location. So I know that the whole spaghetti thing came from a lot of the movies during that era were actually taped in Italy. You'll be surprised at how many movies were taped in Italy and not in the United States outside the whole spaghetti western, you know,
Right.
um, genre. So yeah, that part.
And this was actually filmed in New Mexico. All of it. None of it went to Europe. All of it was here. So what were your thoughts on the movie?
Well, for me, I enjoyed it only because I grew up in a household where we watched westerns every Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that if you grew up enjoying westerns, I think it was easier for you to make that connection. I mean, I can remember watching Big Valley, Bonanza, Gunsmoke, all that on Saturdays when I was supposed to be dusting the furniture and vacuuming, and and my grandma would leave me at home with granddad, and none of that
Mm-hmm.
would get done. So she would come back and feel some type of way. But what could she say? Because she left because the inmates were loose, and she left us with a jailer that had like no control. My granddad, what can she do? She's not gonna yell at my granddad. I mean, trust and believe that. So, so I
He
grew
was
up
like,
with
"Do what you want."
do what you want. It's like at least pretend to dust while you watch westerns as you sit on my
Just
lap.
keep rubbing that same spot. It'll be all right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just bring me some snacks and some soda. It'll be all good. I'll smooth over for you, kid. And
Yeah.
so I can enjoy it because of that. The other thing
Mm-hmm.
is that what kind of made it easier for most people to, I guess, be drawn to is because of Django. So if you think about that one, and then goodness, I'm about to forget the other one that Samuel Jackson was in. Ooh, ooh, ooh! And I saw this in the
Oh,
theaters. Oh God,
it
oh
was only
God.
out a couple of years ago.
Yes, yes, it was
Okay,
very
I
bloody.
didn't see that one.
It was very bloody, and I'm not going to be the spoiler for that one. Just know that it had a very interesting ending. But either way, forgive me. I know it's some real movie buffs out there that want to strangle me for not having all my facts together. But because those movies had already come out with African Americans in them in that type of role in this type of movie, I think it made it easy for people to see the connection. And then also on the history level, I think that more people are understanding about Buffalo Soldiers and what role
Mhm.
African Americans played when it came to the expansion to the West.
Yeah.
So with all that being said, I have an appreciation for it and the historical context that you could look these people up to see what they did, knowing that this movie was kind of like built in a fantasy type way that like you said earlier in the case, they may not have ever actually met in real life, but
Right.
what would it have been like if all these awesome characters had converged at one time in a particular place and era and did what they did. So
Mhm.
yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Okay. See, I'm not a big fan of westerns. I wasn't growing up because I would watch it and I'd be like, A, I don't see us in them. And B, them Indians ain't Indian. So in my little head, I was like, canceled. I'm not wasting my time. I just didn't enjoy it.
She was an intellectual at 3. She was like, this is not historically accurate, therefore I would not attend to it. And I'm sitting beside a lady that's a quarter Indian, and knowing these people don't look nothing like us, huh? Look nothing like us, but we watched it anyway.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
get it. It's
But
kind of hard for you to wrap your hand around.
yeah, but I had fun with this one. This is one I could sit back and just watch it and not think too hard about, is that accurate? Is that accurate? Well, they never would have did even though there are some people out there who took it to those lengths. I wasn't
Yeah,
like that. I was like, oh, did she flip her over? Oh, did they really do? Oh man, they shot him. I liked him. I'm sitting there watching it like that and just
yeah.
enjoying the action and going, oh, what they gonna do now? Oh, wait, who's that character? Oh no, where'd he come from? Oh, he's in this. I'm sitting there watching it like that instead of worrying about, all right, is this historically accurate? Accurate. Excuse me. I'm sitting here petting the cat to keep her quiet and trying to talk at the same time. But it's like I wasn't
Girl, you might as well
worried.
let the cat join the show because every
Every
week,
week she's in the
the
background talking about meow. Yeah. So anyway, I was able to just kind of let it wash over me and just be fun. And I think that's what I enjoyed about it. Also, because I can't watch it just once, I'm gonna have to go back and watch it again. There were Easter eggs in the film. So you noticed the train, right? The name of the train. So apparently in the town, some of those posters and the names of stores and everything were also historical characters. So now I got to go and watch it again to pick up the names and go look them up too, because my nerdy side is like, what was that? Who was that? That name sounds familiar. Wait, I gotta look that up later. Oh, they're moving too fast. I didn't get to write. I was doing all of that too. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, those are things to look out for. The characters are not the only historical figures that you need to be curious about. Colorism. People had their knickers in a knot over that. And I'm like,
it still exists. We can't we can't pretend like it doesn't exist. It's
I'm
still
not.
there.
But in this world where Hollywood is, let me get my focus right here. Hollywood is this big and roles for black actors are that big. You have a whole cast of black folks who are the center of the story. And you gonna fuss about stagecoach Mary wasn't that light skin. She wasn't wearing a corset and a bustier either when she was delivering people's mail. Heck, I didn't see her deliver mail not once in this movie. So,
So what's a real job? I mean, how about it? But
I mean, let's focus on some things. This is fiction. It's not a historical retelling of anything. The people representing the real life characters weren't even the same age as the real life characters at
no,
when they
but
were.
it's funny. These a lot of these people that were the actual characters, a lot of them didn't live long. These
Yeah.
people didn't live to be like 90. So I
Mm-mm.
mean, so you have to take it for what it is. But outside
Yeah.
of colorism, one thing they want to touch on is a cycle of violence. I kept on looking at different reviews, as to why the director and the writer of this film went the direction that he did, is that he wanted to touch on the cycle of violence and trauma that has plagued the African American community forever.
Mm-hmm.
At least since our introduction to being over here. I can't speak for what it was like for us in Africa in that regard, but he was touching on what it's like for us now in modern day society. What spirals of violence and how it continues to perpetuate itself. So, did you pick up on some overtones of that or undertones?
I think by the end, it was like, ooh, because again, I'm watching it as an action film. If somebody isn't getting shot at, blown up, their head lobbed off, or something like that, it's just not fun. But by the time you reach the end of the story, it comes together nicely. Not
It
so nice,
does.
but nicely, you know. Um, and it makes the point like everyone may think we're talking about just gun battle violence here, but that's not the only violence. Like just the actions that you take against another person that causes long term harm, that kind of violence, you
Because
know?
it's a story of revenge. At the end of the
Right.
day, I have to kind of remind you, on an extreme level, I have to get my lick back. If you hit
Hmm.
me and I don't get a chance to hit you back, the teacher separates us, and the whole time thinking, I don't know when, I don't know where, but I'm going to get you back. So the basic plot of the movie is years and years of hunting down someone that wronged one of the main characters. Without getting into the how or whatever. You definitely want to watch it to kind of see how it all spills out. But that deep seated anger, that hatred, that disdain for the person that altered his life stayed with him to the point that he made it his mission to hunt down everyone in his crew, which isn't new to westerns, because when you think about a lot of the modern westerns, that's what a lot of them are built on, is a
Right.
revenge factor. Dudes, killed my wife when I was, when she was on Stagecoach. Someone came to my house and did an invasion and killed my children. So I had to go after, go after them or whatever. So it's kind of on those lines, but then it kind of links back to the level of violence and trauma that African American males or just our society continues to find itself in, kind of woven
Mhm.
in all the time.
Right. Right. So I think by like I said, by the time the end of the movie came, it was like
Put
gut punch.
together.
Yeah, it was gut punch. Like, oh wow, this makes real sense. And the whole time you're watching it, you're not necessarily in the mindset of how does this apply to today, unless you're one of those people that's like, we shouldn't be watching this because we already this way and that way, and it's yeah, whole nother thing. But back to the action, the overall action outside of what the point of the movie was. Talk about well orchestrated, just
Hmm.
well choreographed, particularly the scene with Stagecoach Mary and Trudy. As I alluded to before, I was like, oh, wait, look out. Don't do that. Don't go there for
Hmm.
that whole scene. But and I think I was reading that they had their body doubles there, but they didn't really use the body doubles for that scene. That was them going at it the whole time, or for most of it anyway. That was them going at it. So I was like, wow, wow. Anything else you pulled out?
Well, I would just say towards the end, the fact that the director included a picture of his own father in one of the last scenes,
Oh, okay.
and there's a discussion that's had between the two main characters that are in this epic battle,
Hmm.
and with that picture looming over, it kind of put everything together. Like, wow.
I
And
have
then
to
the
go
fact
back and
that,
watch that part.
yeah, and the fact that the picture is actually of the director's dad, and
Oh,
his dad died when he was young.
oh,
So he makes the connection, as to what it's like to lose someone that's influential, in your life at such a young age, and how it takes you there. Now, his dad was, as far as I know, was not the victim of violence, but no matter how you lose a parent, if you lose them in your formative years, it's impactful. And
right.
you kind of wonder what lessons you could have garnered if they were alive, and what life would have been like for you had they lived. So
Hmm.
that's pretty much the same questions that these other people had, when it
Right.
came to how all this kind of like fell out. And without giving the ending, because I think that there's a level of appreciation that you will have by not reading the spoilers and not being told how it all, boiled out. I think that
Right.
it's worth the watch. And
Definitely.
hmm so
It definitely is worth the watch. And all right, I'm gonna give it a teeny tiny spoiler. They left room for part two.
well, what I read was that they were looking at making a trilogy potentially, because
Ooh.
somehow it's supposed that they connected to a movie that was already done before. Now, I didn't
Oh.
research what movie you know was came before it, but it looks
Hmm.
like it's supposed to be along the lines of being a trilogy. So if that's the case, then like you said, it left room because of that, so that it
Hmm.
could kind of continue on, which would be interesting to see exactly, what direction they want to take it in, because like most westerns, we're not gonna get into who died. A lot of people did. So who's
Right.
left? Like the Avengers. I mean, I don't know how many people, watch, Marvel, whatever. It's
Hmm.
like, how you carry on when so many people died in the epic battle, unless you're able to resurrect these folks because they have superpowers or whatever. So
Right.
so it's going to be interesting to see how the storyline, manifests itself for the next one, potentially, if it does go on.
I think they left the right people behind
Yeah,
for it because one of the characters, how can I phrase this? What one of the characters was a long living legend. I'll say it that way.
yeah.
So, um, yeah, but it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. I look forward to the next one because I know the two that's going to battle it out and who all's going to have to protect whom. But it'll be interesting to see how it comes together. So overall, how would you rate this?
I rated a 9. I give it a
Oh,
9.
we left our 1 to 5. Okay.
Oh, we
All
doing one
right.
to five, 9 to 10. I know. I mean, from
One to
one to
five.
ten.
Last week I was given a 10 out of 5 for last last week's movie, but yeah, I was being extreme. But if you give it a 9 out of 5,
And,
I'm
and,
fine
and
with
that
it.
and that goes along with what the Rotten Tomatoes rating is. Close to it. The Rotten Tomatoes rating is 86%.
Hmm.
So with 93, I think 93% of it being, I guess, the confirmed people that normally, chime in on Rotten Tomatoes. I think that's how you do it. So if you think about it, 86% is close to, like 90%.
Hmm.
And that's high, because you
It
think
is.
about elections are won by 51%. So,
Right.
most, localities. So, if you're ranking 86% and you got people watching it, from folks that are diehard Western fans, all the way to folks that have no clue what a Western is, or any,
Right.
true appreciation for them, that says a lot. With an African American cast, that says a whole lot. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, and one more thing, the music.
Oh yeah, they do
I
have an
wasn't
awesome
into the
soundtrack.
music. I was like, okay. Like, is there actually a soundtrack? Because I don't think too
There
many
is.
Netflix movies. There is. Okay, I'm gonna have
Mm.
to get that because I don't think too many Netflix movies that I've heard of have like a soundtrack you can purchase. Or if they do,
Yeah,
I
there's
haven't been paying
now
attention.
the thing is, I don't know if it's purchasable. I don't know if that's a word. I think it is purchasable. Or able to be purchased. But I did see a link where there is a soundtrack. So I would just say explore it. But you'll be surprised at how they do things because if on Apple you're able to get so much. You think about that's how it was for Empire. Even though those artists, some of those artists were fictitious, and then some of them became real from Empire and ended up becoming artists. You could get a lot of their music off of Apple Music. So
Okay.
just check it out. The music industry is gonna have their hands in movies. There's got to be a way to purchase this, purchase the songs. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well,
what's
I
your
give
rating?
it. Well, since we're going on a scale of 10, I would also give it a 9, considering I'm not a big Western fan.
That's a
But
lot.
like I said, I'm there for the action. This is one that I can put on the I'm having a bad day. I need something energizing to watch, and because people are getting tossed around and blown up and shot at, it's like, okay, I'll watch that one.
Yeah.
Look, it's either that or my kung fu movies. So all right. I think unless you got something to add.
I have nothing to add. If you're interested in watching this, like we stated before, it's on Netflix. And of course, it's
Hmm.
going to probably be up there for a while. Definitely check it out. Get your favorite snacks, get your favorite girl, your favorite guy, or whomever, and
Hmm.
just, sit back and relax and watch this film.
For sure, for sure, for sure, for sure. So, with that being said, please follow us on our platforms.
Yep.
You will find me at nikewrites.wordpress.com. And I swear to you, that is the real spelling of my name, Nike. No lie. All
Yep.
right. And you can find Don at donmiskel.com. Check out his books. You can find
Yes.
him on Amazon under Don Miskel. And then our friend over here, Nicole DeCandis at NicoleDeCandis.com. And at the opening of the show, you heard music by Robert Rice Jr. Check him out on smoothology.net. Okay. Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Um,
And
we can,
share.
yeah, definitely share. If you go to Media That Moves We on YouTube, you will find the list, Movies That Move We. Okay. So that's where you'll find Movies That Move We on YouTube. And then on Facebook, normally we do the whole spiel about you got to answer 3 questions. Well, Facebook done turned to Meta and they done messed everything up. So,
Oh, wow.
oh, you didn't notice.
No.
Yeah, child, they got rid of our questions.
So we just have to decide whether we want people or not.
Well, thank God I'm paying attention because tech support here went in and said, all right, look, if our questions are going away, then, if anybody can join, then, we're just going to make sure we monitor a little bit harder. So we got things programmed in the background so that newbies who find the group hopefully won't spam the group. So we invite you to join the Facebook group, but no spamming. Behave yourselves.
Behave yourselves. We don't. We already believe in whatever higher power we're gonna believe. We already got our own makeup consultants, hair consultants. You know, we
We
already
don't need a
part of.
graphic designer.
We don't need any of that. We don't need another Ponzi scheme. We don't need. We don't need
Yeah,
different ways to invest our money. We're not flipping houses over there. All we're doing is talking about media and movies that move us as a diaspora.
There you go. So if you're interested in that type of conversation, come on over. We'd love to have you.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right. So that being said, I think next week we'll be doing passing. Yeah,
Okay.
passing. So join us
That's
for
going to be interesting because that deals with colorism as well, big time.
just
And the
blam on
K,
the
and
base.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they, yeah, and the K and I have experiences with that in our own families. Yeah.
Yep. 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 So, yep, we'll be talking about that. People keep asking me about it, and I'm like, next week. Next week, don't tell me nothing.
Yeah.
Don't say nothing. So,
Save it.
yeah. All right. So, we'll be back next week with passing. And until then, you guys have an awesome, awesome day. And we'll see you again.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.